Fat Shark has really undersold themselves on the Hive Scum reveal trailer. Instead of focusing on any of the unique, interesting aspects of the class, which we can see in some of their abilities, they decided to instead use a crowbar, and then the most interesting thing would be the dual wield pistols. Most people are going to view this trailer and think, oh, it's just the dual wield DLC, and they're going to think that the Hive Ganger is a ripoff veteran, which it partially is. One major flaw of the class I've seen looking through their skills is that every one of their auras and a few of their little blue skills are just ripped off from other classes, mainly Zealot and Veteran, which is pretty disappointing. I mean, this class was already going to have a pretty, I would say, partially negative reception, just because it's probably the most boring option of the potential classes they could have done, which I don't think is entirely fair. I think that it does have a lot of potential to be interesting, and some of the skills like the rocket launcher or any of the chem mechanics that we can see in their class breakdown are actually pretty interesting, and I feel like they could have done a lot better if they actually leaned into that on the trailer, and I'm really not sure why they didn't. Maybe Games Workshop didn't want them talking about drugs in the trailer, but I feel like the rocket launcher was such a missed opportunity that they could have really leaned into and would have probably got a better reception for the trailer. Like, instead of that, we get a Junker Queen ripoff walking down a corridor, dragging her crowbar, and then she shoots some dual wield pistols. That's what we get for the reveal trailer that was delayed, by the way, which it just seems so weird and seems so underwhelming. Like, I don't know another word for it other than underwhelming. I also think they could have really leaned into the whole chem aspect, which is a new mechanic and honestly a pretty interesting one. I know some people are really not happy with the Hive Ganger, and personally I was hoping for a rattling, even though, yeah, it's not, or it wasn't too likely. But I'm not that sad that it's something else. I mean, I feel like people have really hyped themselves up on the idea that it's going to be like an AdMech or something, or a Sister of Battle. And the fact that there's such a negative reaction to Hive Scum is partially due to the fact that they sort of gassed their own expectations up, which isn't necessarily, Fat Shark's fault, but it's also a bit of the people's fault for expecting something when there hasn't really been any information that it was going to be something else. At least for the future classes, there will be no, oh, is it Ganger? It will be something that people will deem more interesting. But the point of this video was more about the trailer. I mean, you have a pretty generic class, and you present it in such a generic, honestly boring way. Like, it's such a lazy way to introduce a Ganger. They could have leaned into any other aspect of it and gotten a more positive reception. And the easiest way to fix the genericness of this video is to just add some gameplay. Add some gameplay that shows some of the new, more interesting weapons. Show some of the blitzes. Like, imagine if we could actually see the rocket launcher. I feel like most people are going to view the trailer and think, oh, it's literally just dual wield veteran. But in reality, I would say like half of the classes or half of the abilities are actually unique and pretty interesting. The other half are legitimately just ripped from Zealot and Veteran, like all of their auras and a few of their abilities that they talked about. It's just either current or old Zealot and Veteran skills, which is pretty disappointing. But the other half, their main abilities actually seem pretty interesting. Their melee weapons seem interesting. Their ranged weapons look decent enough. We'll see how they actually fare in game, but I'm really excited to try the melee variant of this class. And if I just had the trailer to go off of and they didn't actually break down some of the skills in that dev post, I would actually be not as excited. And I think that is a huge missed opportunity from Fat Shark regarding this trailer. On the bright side, at least the subtitles are good.